Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
Good evening, Philippines. Good evening, world. Or shall I say, good morning, good afternoon, or good day to the rest of the world. Welcome back to Pageant Mag Philippines live sessions. So, yours truly, once again, guys, Francois is your pageant correspondent. And yes, we are live simultaneously on our Facebook page, of course, that's Pageant Mag Philippines, and on our YouTube channel, still Pageant Mag Philippines. If you are new to our YouTube channel, please do subscribe and click the bell notification and follow and like our Facebook page as well for more pageant updates. By the way, you can also subscribe on our Facebook page. And also, guys, we are on Instagram and TikTok, so please do follow us on all our social media platforms. By the way, if you you can also send us stars. That's stars, guys. You can also send us stars to help us on our streaming subscriptions. That's on Facebook page. All right. So if you have any questions to our guest later, so please don't hesitate to drop your questions down below at the comment section. All right. I believe that you are all excited to meet our guest for tonight. By the way, it's morning on her place right now. So, our esteemed guest for tonight is a Miss Earth USA 2022 candidate hailing from the state of Alaska. All right, without further ado, guys, please do help me to welcome our guest with a virtual applause. There you go. Give it up for Kimberly Kim, your Miss Alaska Earth USA 2022. Good evening, Kim.
Good evening. So great to be here. Thank you for having me.
Wow, we are very much honored to have you tonight. Basically, myself, I'm very much honored to have you as my guest for tonight's live session. And of course, we are very much grateful that you have, shall I say, you have actually responded to our invitation. All right,
Of
so
course.
how are you doing?
I'm great. I just woke up, but I'm feeling energized and I'm excited. It's a new week, so I'm ready to get started.
Yes, that's right. It's the first day of the week. It's Monday, Manic Monday. How do you, well, what can you say about that?
I I kind of love Mondays because you're able to start afresh, you're able to start new for the week. So, you get some rest hopefully on the weekends, you restore yourself, and then you can hop back on, especially if you feel like you didn't accomplish what you wanted to in the previous week or something, or it didn't go as you wanted. You can always start new on Monday.
Wow, that's right. That's right. Actually, Monday should be the best day of the week. Well, for
Right?
me, other than Sunday, of course. Other than Sunday, because Sunday is really my favorite. Other than Sunday,
Yes.
Monday is also one
Sunday
of my
has to be
favorites.
the best.
Yes, of
Very
course.
relaxing.
Yes. And wow, we already have some questions in here. Actually, to start off with, why is Alaska delegates are strong this year? Well, then, guys, we are going to ask these questions later to Kim. All right. So, to all our viewers, once again, if you have any questions, please just drop your questions down below at the comment sections. All right. So, Kim, can you tell us more about yourself? Because, well, we just know you by name, of course. Kimberly Keane from Alaska, fighting for Miss Earth USA 2022. Now, so, of course, there are very much, well, I mean, a lot of interesting facts that you can share to us. I am truly sure about that. So can you just share some to us?
Yeah, so as you know, I'm Kimberly Keene. I am your Miss Alaska Earth 2021. I am competing for Miss Earth USA 2022 in just under 3 weeks. It's crazy, time has flown by. And I am a family law attorney, so that's what I do for a living. I was
Oh,
just recently sworn in to the California bar last week, I believe, so I'm brand new. I'm really excited. And I live in San Diego, California. I also grew up here. It's a gorgeous place. I love living here. And a little bit about my education background. I went to UCLA.
mm-hmm.
Oh, it went out for a minute. But I went to
Yeah.
UCLA where I got my bachelor's in political science, and I went to the University of San Diego to get my law degree. And other than that, I absolutely love hiking on my free time. I love nature. I grew up in nature. I was fortunate
Mhm.
enough where I was able to go camping and hiking and spend a lot of time outdoors.
Oh, all right. Let's just wait for Kim. I think something's going on her internet connection. All right, perhaps this is also one of the issues. hmm Yeah, she's freezing. Yeah, she's really beautiful. Let's just wait for her. I think there's just some issues perhaps right now. So once again, guys, if you can definitely help us to promote muna ako. You can definitely help us to sustain these live sessions by sending stars. And surely we will. Oh, there you go.
I'm so sorry about that. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, likewise. That's all right. That's all right. That it happens basically. Okay.
Okay, so
So,
I will continue. So as I was saying, I was really lucky to grow up in nature. I was always hiking and camping, being outdoors, and that love of nature has continued with me now, and especially was what influenced my decision to compete in Miss Earth USA 2022. So that's a little bit about me. I also am a rescue mom to two rescue cats, Fig and
mhm.
Olive, and I absolutely love them.
Wow, that's great. I'm already hearing impressive credentials in here. So you just mentioned that you are already a practicing lawyer, right?
Yes.
And by the way, let me just congratulate you for taking an off like 2 weeks ago. Am I right?
Yeah, I was sworn in to the bar, so I think it was
hmm
last week.
Oh, last week.
Yeah,
So
I think so.
congratulations for that.
Time flies.
Well, anyways,
Thank you.
that's really very impressive. You're already a lawyer. However, you're here joining a pageant. What actually motivated you to join Miss Earth USA?
Yeah, so I'm relatively new, actually brand new to pageantry. I just started and competed in my first pageant ever, Miss California USA, in September. And so Miss Earth USA is my second ever pageant in my life. And the reason, what motivated me was honestly just the amazing dedication that the organization has to environmental causes, it's really not common that you see a pageant organization as passionate and as, sticking to their word about a social cause or in their case, an environmental cause. And that was something I really admired about their organization. And I'm so glad I did join because going through now and competing and going through the different steps, I realized I was right about that. I mean, they mean what they say. They provide delegates with so many amazing opportunities to be able to help the environment. And so it's been an awesome journey. I absolutely love being involved in Miss Earth USA. And so I'm very happy I joined, and I'm so excited to be in Orlando in just under 3 weeks.
Nice. From what I know, Kim, is that as a lawyer, you also have a specialization. Is that correct?
So actually in the US, when you go to law school, you just generally study everything and then you
Mhm.
get your degree. And then you can specialize in a certain area of law, but a lot of times it takes several years and you have to take a test to specialize in that area. So I'm not actually specialized in family law, it's just what I'm currently practicing.
So the reason why I'm asking is that I just wanted to know if you have if then you have a specialization, or if you already specialized. Um, I just wanted to know if there is also any somehow relation, or is it relative to your um, advocacy with Miss Earth?
Yeah. So my area of family law isn't exactly directly related to what I'm advocating for Miss Earth USA. But I will say that there is a connection. I mean, I believe that when we help the family, when we help the individual, we're ultimately helping the people. And when people feel happier, more in unity, they're more likely to help the environment and want to prioritize environmental causes. And so I really truly believe that humanity and the environment are so connected and can live in harmony with one another if we, make sure that we protect and nourish both of those areas. So it's not directly related to my advocacy, which is the it's called the Oceana Project. And I don't know if I'm going to go into that later. I can go
Yeah,
into it
we'll be
now a
talking
little bit.
more about your
Okay.
advocacy.
But I will say, when
Mhm.
I was in law school, I was actually on the executive board of the San Diego Journal of Climate and Energy Law. So I had a big hand in editing and publishing articles that nationally that went over different areas of environmental law and policy in this country. So that was a great honor, and it really strengthened my respect and passion for advocating for environmental issues.
Oh, that's great. Well, all right. Actually, this one guy, Mark Chow, is in Los Angeles, California right now. So,
Hi,
hi,
Mark.
Mark. It's been quite a long while. He's actually one of our avid viewers for live sessions. Mark, by the way, from now on, Mark, you can also help our live sessions by sending stars. You can actually see just below the video. All right, so let's just continue this. Um, you have already given us so much information about your educational background, your pageant experiences, and of course your even your work experience and your reason for joining Miss Earth USA. Now, I want you to shall I say, let's just play this. Have you ever had? If it's all right with you.
Yes, let's do it.
All right, good. So there you go. Whenever you're ready, Kim, just let me know.
I'm ready.
Okay. So this is just a part of getting to know you, not actually on your academic credentials, not on your credentials, but more personally. All right. So Let's start off with, have you ever had gotten in trouble at school or at church?
I definitely have gotten in trouble at
Mhm.
school,
Good
in
girl.
elementary school, yeah.
Mhm. So, how did it happen? Can you tell us about this?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of specific instances. I remember there was one time where I had a friend and we were fighting really loudly in the hallway, and the teacher heard it and she was so mad. And so, not physically fighting, we were just yelling at each other in the hallway. And then I was on a timeout over recess, and I was very upset about that. But I learned not to yell at people in the hallways after that.
But normally, that's normal for children, right? For like grade school students,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, it's just normal. All right. How about this one? Have you ever had regretted or regifted rather? It's Christmas. Have you ever had regifted or recycled a gift?
I definitely have recycled gifts, and regifted to people, but I usually don't regift it over a special holiday or a birthday or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
If it's something I can't use or something I know I won't use, I'll just give it to my friends. That happens a lot, actually.
Mm-mm.
So I've never done that for a specific holiday, but because I just like to get people gifts, I enjoy that process.
Exactly.
But I've definitely given people gifts that I know I'm not going to use.
That's right. Hmm. So instead of keeping them, let others use it if you are not using it anymore, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel the same way about my clothing. So if,
Hmm.
I go through these purges of, okay, I need to clean out my closet, and I never throw away my clothes. I always give it to somebody I know, or I donate them because I think, if they're in relatively good condition, there's no reason to throw them out. There's so many
That's correct.
uses,
Hmm.
especially even for furniture and different things in the home. If they're reusable, then I think you should always give them away instead of throwing them out.
And that's absolutely part of Miss Earth's advocacy, right? To
Right.
recycle things when are still usable. Okay, when they're still useful though. Hmm. How about this one? You're already working right now, or perhaps you've experienced this during college. Have you ever had your cell phone rang at an embarrassing moment?
My cell phone?
Yes.
Let's think. Yeah, well, I can think of a lot of times in college where I was in class and you get kind of bored and you play a game on your phone or something. And thankfully in college, the professors are less stringent about that. They kind of just let you do what you want to do. I know in law school, it's a definite no-no if you have your phone out, but I was
Sure.
very sneaky and I was not caught.
That's great. But to all our student viewers, mhm.
Put
it's
your
a
phone
it's
away.
irritating. I'm sorry to say that. Alright. How about this one, Kim? Have you ever had kept pictures of you because you felt awkward when looking at it?
Have I ever what?
Have
Pictures?
you ever
Sorry,
had kept pictures or photos of you?
uh,
Yeah, because you felt awkward when you're looking at it.
oh, all the time. I always feel awkward looking at pictures of myself.
Without
I think
face?
thank you. I mean, for every good picture, there's 300, not so good pictures. So, I think that's something that we're all human. Something we all struggle with is, you know, if we see an unflattering picture, sometimes it makes us feel very badly about ourselves. And I'm certainly no exception to that. I really try to, that's kind of been a growing process for me too in my life is I remember, especially as a teenager, I think this is with most teenagers too, is if there was an unflattering picture of myself, I mean, I really thought that was me, that was how I looked, and it just really affected me negatively. But as I grew up, I learned no, it's just an unflattering photo. You don't have to pay attention to it, you don't have to take it personally. But I think that really comes with growing up because, I definitely struggle with that a lot. And sometimes I still do, I think that's kind of just natural. We see a bad picture and we don't want, no one wants to see themselves in a bad light or looking unflattering, right? So it's definitely
Exactly.
always a process.
Exactly. No one would really want to show off the
Right.
the
Yes.
unflattering, the unflattering events of their lives, right?
Right.
And I definitely agree with you on that. How about this one? I don't know if this you have if you've already experienced this. Have you ever had told someone their zipper was down or their shirt was popping open?
I'm sure I have. I remember one time where somebody told me this. So I was starting a new, and it's for some reason it's like burned in my memory because I was so embarrassed. But I was starting a new job and it was my first day, and I put on this new shirt and I felt like extremely nervous to start. And I was in the elevator and I was trying to be really, formal to this lady in the elevator. And then as I walk out, she says, "Oh, you have your tags hanging out in the back." And I really appreciated it because otherwise I would have walked into work and it was the price tag. So I would have walked into work and it was probably more embarrassing that way. But I just remember like trying to be this really formal, new job, attitude. And that just brought me back to reality. But it's always a good thing to tell people when that stuff is happening because everybody sees it. So it's
Yeah,
good
that's right.
to, right. It feels embarrassing, but it's actually good to let people know.
Exactly. I think it's just very easy for me to do that. It's just very easy for me to reach out to the people, to someone whose zipper's down or shirt is popping open. I don't know why. Yeah, but I try to find a way to tell someone to tell that someone that it cannot embarrass him or her at least.
Yeah, right. Finding a way to say it where it's not embarrassing. That's an art
That's
too.
right. I would just like whisper something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just whisper. I think your zipper is down. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, how about this one? I know that in law school you read a lot, and of course you have exams. Have you ever had copied an answer from your seatmate?
No, I never did. Not in law school, no way. There was way too much on the line, and it was kind of impossible to do that because they spread us out in a way where it was very difficult, and they took exams very seriously. So there was always one or two proctors that were walking around. So they made sure that that never happened. And no, I never did in law school.
Especially that you're in, yeah, that's special that you're in law and you're studying
Yeah,
law.
right. That would kind of go against the whole idea, right?
That's right. I think this is the last. Have you ever question that I could ask you? Have you ever had lied about your birthday just to get a free dessert?
That's a funny question. I actually haven't, but I've been with people who have. It was funny. I forget who I was with. It was a friend the other year, and we were at a restaurant, and then all of a sudden, a birthday cake comes out to me with candles on it, and I was like, "It's not my birthday. What are you doing?" And they're like, "I know." They just did it for fun to see how I would react with everybody singing to me. It was funny.
I did that actually. That's why
Yeah.
I asked.
I
I
think
did that
especially
actually.
for people who don't like to be the center of attention, that's a good practical joke for them.
Exactly. Especially if the person is like very introverted. I
Yes.
think that could definitely help them to, to get socialized.
Yeah, depending on the extent of the birthday celebrations at the restaurant,
But
yes.
you know what? At times there are these restaurants, especially in eat all you can restaurants, that they
Mhm.
would ask for at least an ID, for a valid ID that tells, of course, it shows your birthday today or at least within the month.
Yeah, it's too many people are probably getting those free desserts. They have to
Yeah,
check.
that's right. And they realize that. All right, thank you so much for your honesty, Kim, and I really appreciate that. All right. Hmm. What are these? Oh, there are a lot of questions in here already and a lot of comments. I'm reading a lot of comments. Hi, let me just do a shout out. Let us just do a shout out for them. Hi, Ralph Sambat. Thank you for watching. Hello,
Hi,
and
Ralph.
mhm. And of course, Geda. Is that Geda or Jeda? Matanog Ehong. Hi. Watching.
Hello.
Yeah. Good evening to you if you're in the Philippines. Of course, we also have here Luis Bourbon. Hello. Welcome to the Philippines once again. And of course,
Oh,
yeah, she actually came home from New Zealand. Am I right, Luis? Yeah. So just comment down your your confirmation to that. And we have Napoleon Grave. Is that Napoleon Osvo rather? Napoleon Osvo Federer. Hi, good evening to you, and hi, Trisha. Would you like to greet
cats.
them? Joey Habon Albos. Hi, good evening to all of you. And of course, Linel. Hi, Linel Valenciano. Thank you. Good
Hi,
evening.
Linnell.
There you go. So we have a lot of questions in here already. So let's start off with the first question of Napoleon. Wow, this is
He's
too
always
long.
asking very intricate, detailed questions, so
Yeah, this is very long. Miss Alaska Earth attorney Kimberly Teen, what is your take on Alaskalicassan? Are you familiar with this? Alaskalicassan?
no, I'm not.
It's actually a coined word for
Mhm.
Alaska and environment, which is kalikasan in the
Oh, got it.
Philippines. Yeah, that's a
Oh,
Tagalog.
okay.
Alaskalicassan.
I'll have to remember that.
Kalikasan is for environment. Yeah. So Alaskalicassan, or what's this? Portmanteau of Alaska, and Kalikasan, which is Philippine for nature, okay, or the environment. A project of Alaska Milk Corporation, which is here in the Philippines, which they hope to make at least nationwide someday. But for now, people who deliver the required weight of single use plastics to any of the local government units that have agreed to participate will be rewarded with their products dependent upon the amount that each one brings. And because of that, not only are the what's this, but how come it's not let me just try to check on that in here. I'm sorry about that. It's not showing on the
I think
network.
probably it's just too long.
Yeah.
But I can start answering it. I mean, I think that that's an amazing project. I'm going
Mhm.
to look that up after the show, Alaska Milk Corporation. I think that's awesome because I'm really a supporter of making environmental initiatives beneficial and rewarding to people. So I've had a few questions in the past that ask me, should we prohibit this or should we make this um, a requirement for people? And a lot of times people push back against environmentalism that's forced upon them or used to regulate their behavior in a negative way, like punishing them for not adopting certain environmental behaviors. And I think that that's actually counterintuitive and it's going to be counter and less productive to actually embracing environmentalism. So I really do support initiatives, government and otherwise, that reward people and benefit people based on being more environmentally friendly and embracing sustainability. So that sounds like the Alaska Milk Corporation has that figured out. And so
Mhm.
that would be an initiative that's a great example of helping and benefiting people to embrace environmentalism. So
Yeah,
I think
I
that's
think
a
so
great
too
thing.
as well. I think it's a great move for this company to somehow look on how they could help as well the environment or the nature per se in
Mhm.
general. Yeah. Thank you so much for that, Napoleon. That was too long. Uh, He has another question in here. Attorney Kim, what would be your answer to the question that Miss Alaska Emma Broyles, the conqueror of the 100th Miss America crown, was asked on December 16, 2021, on the current journal Alaska Standard Time at the Mohegan Sun? Oh, that's too long.
I'd have to look up exactly what questions she was asked because that
Yes.
seems like a very specific time. But I will happily answer them once I find the questions that were asked her. But I will say that I'm so happy that she won. She was the first Alaska delegate to win in the Miss America competition, and she won Miss America 100th anniversary, no less. And she was an amazing candidate. So I'm so happy for her, and that was an amazing moment.
Ooh. All right. So here's other questions in here. Okay, let me just try to. Hi, Joey. So he's greeting us. Hi, Sir Francois and
Hello.
there you go. Thank you so much for your questions, Napoleon. But I hope this could be very particular. Okay, he has another question. Um, You have shared through the Pageant project hosted by Adrian that you two are Italian, but are you fluent in that language? Are you fluent in Italian?
No,
Buongiorno.
not at all. I took French in school and then I took some Spanish, so I speak French and Spanish, but not Italian. I'm Italian by ethnicity partly, but no, I know some food words, of course, and a few things here and there, but actually I know a lot of Italian American slang because that's generally what we have as Italian Americans. But no, I'm not fluent in Italian. It would be great to learn the language one day. My mom actually knows Italian a little bit.
Wow, that's great. I just know a few words actually in Italian, like buongiorno, buonasera.
Uh-huh.
It's just very close to Spanish actually.
Yeah, right. And it just sounds so nice. I think,
That's
everyone,
right. That's right.
yeah, it's a nice language.
Okay. We also have. Well, he has another question. Uh, are you naturally nocturnal? Oh,
I
it's morning in there and in the U.S. right now.
Yeah. I think naturally I do naturally stay up at night a little bit more and then wake up later in the day, but I, of course, have to modify that with, regular work hours and everything, so now I'm on normal people time, but I remember, if when I was studying for the bar, when I don't have to get up early in the morning, I usually go to bed around 2 a.m. or so and then wake up around maybe 9:30, so that's kind of my natural schedule.
Well, I can. I have a share of experience with you actually, Kim, because when I was also studying my masters, that's actually how I do it. So
Yeah.
normally I could stay up late up until even 4 a.m. and then I have to wake up at least 6 or 5 a.m. just an hour sleep or two, and
Oof.
then go to school. Yeah.
Oh, man. That's rough.
Yeah, but that's fine. I was able to cope, and yeah, I was able to finish my masters as well.
Yeah, right. I think when you're a student, for you have some sort of supernatural capabilities of like a
Mhm.
superpower of not being able to sleep for long periods of time
That's right.
and
That's right.
somehow being able to function.
That's right. That's right. Everything is really possible when you are a student, especially in college, masters, or doing some specializations, and taking your board exams, or shall I say licensure exams. So those are
Mhm.
actually the time that you can be very superpower
Yes.
man or woman. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I think this is just somehow not really very. It's not a social issue, I guess. He's asking, how often have you been bonding with Teen Miss Alaska Earth? Nora Andrew, you know so much about Alaska, right? Nora Andrews, at least through the internet, I am very proud and joyful that the two of you are representing Alaska, and both of you are constant in intensifying those feelings. And when I see you together, like truly beside each other with your sashes and crowns, that will definitely be majestic. So it's just somehow, well, it's asking, do you have any communication with her?
Yeah, I do. I love Nora. We've been talking over social media and we're both really supportive of our missions through Miss Earth USA. And I'm also really excited to meet her at the competition. So that's going to be great. I'm excited.
Okay, so we have a question from Mark Shao. He's asking, which one is easier to forget? A friend who lies to you or a friend who betrays you?
A friend who lies to you. I mean, the lie could be the betrayal too, but
Mhm.
assuming that the lie is not a betrayal, I would say lie because I think you can, at least for me, I can get over little things, but if it's a betrayal, that seems like a big deal, and don't know if I could probably get over a lie easier. Yeah.
Oh, hi Ralph. Take care, friends and Kimberly. I have to go and do some paperwork. See you in Orlando soon, Kimberly. Hi Ralph. Thank you
Hi,
so
Ralph.
much. Yeah, you take care as well, for Ralph. Okay, we have another question from Napoleon. Oh, Napoleon. All right, here you go. If it is for someone like Miss Alaska, Earth, Kimberly staying up late for waking up, just sharing anyway. So I'm sorry about that. I thought it was a question. Yeah. hmm Let me just try to take a look on this, Kim, before we proceed. Okay. Yes. Yes. Is there anyone? I think there's no more question in here. OMG, I love you. Thank you so much, Srisha. She
I
said
have
we
two
have this.
doors. I have two
Oh,
doors,
yeah. I
and you
think
have
the other
one
one
door.
is for the restroom, for the bathroom.
No, one is for the
Oh,
closet, and one is for entering into the room.
oh.
Now you know.
Thank you so much. All right. Do we have any other questions in here? Mhm. Marshall, I think Marshall is needing some help, some psychological help.
The
I
betrayal question.
yeah, I have a question. Sorry, it's a little bit personal. What will you do if your friend betrays you? Do you forgive? Do you forgive them or do you forgive him, even if they constantly hurt you and abuse your kindness for their own personal gain? Ah,
Well, I would say if your friend is constantly betraying you and you feel that they're really constantly hurting you and betraying, then it's okay to move on from that friend and make new friends that fit you a little better. I think
That's right.
it also, but I think it really depends on the situation because I've had friends, one of my closest friends actually from when we were in high school, we kind of go back and forth because I feel that way sometimes where I feel, oh, she doesn't appreciate me enough or something like that. But she always comes back and apologizes, and we have this really close bond. And so we're always able to, work through it. But that's not the case with everybody. Sometimes it's the betrayal is a little bit too much, and I think that in that case, it's okay. I think really just listen to your gut. If you feel like this is very hurtful to you, then you shouldn't keep pursuing something that's hurting you.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. Kim, that depends with the situation. That
Yeah,
depends with the context of betrayal.
right.
If the betrayal perhaps could break the trust, right? So that could definitely mean a lot. If that happens to me, if that betrayal happened to me, break my trust to a friend, then definitely it's the end of friendship,
Mhm. Yeah,
right?
it's really situational, and then sometimes, like I said, sometimes you just love the person so much or you have such a close bond that you almost can get over it easier. So it's really situational, I think, but I would say that in any case, you have to go with your gut and how you feel. You have to do some searching inside yourself and see, is this person worth staying friends with? Because you, at the end of the day, are the most important person that you should be looking out for.
That's right. It's basically reflecting on what basically happened, and of course,
Mhm.
on of the friendship that you actually shared together.
Right.
If it's worth it, if it's worth it to keep the friendship despite of the betrayal, and that depends on the on the degree of the betrayal that basically,
Yes.
yeah, right, that your friend actually did to you. If
But
it's
Mark, if you're going through something, I'm sorry. I hope you figure it out.
and all right, aloha from Hawaii, USA, new fan, and I shared your life. Thank you so much, Shannon.
Hi,
Yeah,
Shannon.
thank you so much. All right, so
Wow, she's
good,
up early.
yeah, good morning to you.
It's like 3:50 in the morning in Hawaii right now.
I think so, yeah, because it's really close to the Philippines.
Yeah, oh, that's right.
All right, so there you go. Let me just ask you about the environment, about some social issues. Kim, um, there are actually some people or some individuals who don't believe on global warming. Some would also would say that it's just a myth. So,
Mhm.
what's your message to them?
I would say that it's important to make sure that your beliefs are rooted in enough data and science and facts to make sure that they are the most truthful and ultimately the most beneficial to our world. And so, to do that, I would encourage them to get their information from multiple sources, look at the science, but make sure that you're also looking at the science from several different publications. And also, I think it's important to keep up with these issues in the news because science tends to change over time, develop. It's really, I don't want to say a practice, but it's something that always is getting added to. And so it's important to keep paying attention to that. And also I think it's important too to speak to people around you and get their experiences with climate change and global warming, people who share your viewpoints, but people who also have different viewpoints. Because then you'll have a big collection of facts and data and opinions, and you can be better able to sift through those and formulate your own opinion that's a little more educated than just coming from, maybe I listen to this one news channel or this one newspaper that says one thing, and so I believe it wholeheartedly. It's important to look at the facts and it's important to gather enough facts and enough data, enough opinions from all kinds of different sides of the issue. And then you're able to more, form a more educated opinion. And so I think that's really helpful for learning more about climate change and ultimately believing in it and doing your best to help with the issue.
If you're going to convince them that climate change is real, it's happening, how can you convince them?
I would point to the natural disasters that are happening right now, right? So you have, unfortunately, a very dire situation in the Philippines that happened, I believe, just this week. And Kentucky also had a terrible tornado, I believe, with several deaths. And so all the time there are natural disasters that are happening around our world and they end in catastrophe. And so I would point to that particularly and say, this is reality. It's happening every day. And just make sure that you're looking at that and trying to find a solution rather than denying it, because ultimately these things are going to keep happening. And it's important that we as people and as people of the earth respect our earth and make sure that these disasters can at least be mitigated in the future.
That's right. I definitely agree with that. But you know what? Since we are already believing that global warming is really happening, what do you think is the how did it start? If I may say, how did it start, or what really caused that warming is definitely happening right now?
Yeah, so I think that it's a combination of things. Of course, the Earth's atmosphere naturally cools and warms over time, so that's part of it. But we also, as humans, have been relying more and more on industry and big industry in producing food and producing our products. And so we're a big part of that as well. I think we're the biggest part of that is that our carbon emissions have kept increasing, and we continually rely on these forms of energy that are harmful to our environment. And so, unless we mitigate that and we turn more towards sustainability, our Earth's atmosphere is ultimately going to keep warming or cooling depending on what the patterns of our carbon emissions are and so forth. But unless we begin to curtail that and lean more towards sustainability, it's ultimately going to keep being an issue for us.
There was actually this one article, or actually from the recent pageant, Miss Universe pageant, if I may mention, they actually um, themed the Miss Universe, this year's editions to um, um, recycling clothes like green theme for the Miss Universe. Like
Oh, yeah.
yeah, it's becoming environmental. So
Mhm.
um, they actually mentioned that fashion is actually one of the biggest or major contributors of global warming.
Right.
Do you believe on that?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. So, especially because of how we throw out our clothes or how we dispose of our clothing. So, most people, as we were talking about in the beginning, once we're done with our clothing, a lot of times we just throw it in the trash or dispose of it somehow. And then, how does that ultimately affect our environment? Well, it's being burned in these landfills and emitting more carbon emissions and more CO2 into our environment. So, that is a big contributor. How we dispose of our waste is a huge issue in climate change and global warming. So I would say that clothes are no exception to that. And so it's important that, as we were speaking about in the beginning, that we embrace different forms of disposing our clothing. So instead of just throwing them away, or donating them to places that maybe will do the same thing. Make sure you donate them to people that you know who need them, or donate them to people who are in need, because clothing, as we know, has a long lifetime. I mean, clothes can last forever if they're taken care of relatively well. So if they're not given, and recycled in a lot of ways, then they're ultimately going to be burned in a landfill, or they're going to be polluting the earth, and they're not very biodegradable. It's not easy for clothing to break down in the environment, so it's going to be harming the environment either way. So I'd encourage people to definitely look into recycling your clothing, keeping it as long as you can, but if you don't want it anymore, then recycle it, give it to someone else, or you could even make it into something else yourself. But recycling is key in that regard.
Right. So, what else can I say? Yeah, we actually mentioned this about this earlier, that if we're not using, or if something that we don't use anymore, we better give it away to someone who could use them, right? So
Right.
at least it's basically recycling. How about you, Ken? Would there be a possibility for you to wear um, gowns or some OOTDs for Miss Earth USA that are already being used?
Yes, so both of my gowns that I have for Miss Earth USA are used gowns. I purchased them off of Queenly, which is one of our amazing partners at Miss Earth USA, and that's also an awesome thing that Queenly does, is it's all secondhand clothing, but it's beautiful, and it always comes in great condition. And I have given my previous gowns from the previous pageant away on Queenly as well, and I will continue to do that. If I'm not using the clothing, then I'm going to make sure to give it to someone else. And so yeah, that was actually important to me going into Miss Earth USA. Was I didn't want to just talk the talk, and then when it came to being on the stage, I'm wearing, everything that's harmful to the environment. I really wanted to prioritize environmentalism even in my clothing. And so the gowns that I have are used, and they're going to be reused by me, and they're going to be reused by someone else after me as well.
Oh, that's great. You know what? You know what? There's always this thought that whenever you compete for like national pageants or in whatever pageants, it should always be new. So hearing this
Yeah.
from you, that you are very open to wearing recycled or used gowns and OOTDs, that's definitely amazing, and I applaud you for that.
Thank you. Yeah, and I think it's just something that's so easy to do, and I also think that if I was even thinking, if I didn't get new gowns, I would have worn my gown that I've worn previously, and I would have just added to it, so maybe added a cape or something like that, or put a slit in it. There's so many ways that you can modify old gowns as well, and they basically look new, that it's very cheap and easy to do as well. So I would say that's another option that's great.
Yeah, that's great. Oh, there's actually trivia here coming from Napoleon. The 2020 Olympic medals, two of which Alaska ace Lydia Jacoby earned, were made from recycled functioning, no more gadgets as we know. Yeah, from
Mhm.
the recent from the recent 2020 Olympic actually in Japan. Yeah,
Yes.
those were actually recycled um, from gadgets, I guess. Yeah,
Yeah, I know, that was a really cool fact that
that's
I
right.
learned when I was watching the Olympics, and they looked beautiful too.
Absolutely. Even the colors, right? The gold,
Yeah.
silver, the bronze, they are absolutely stunning. And still, the brand is there. It's Olympic.
Yeah.
Right? I hope every events like that, for every major events like that, sports, maybe even in pageants, even the crowns, if that could be possible. I guess that's really amazing if that could be applied to everyone.
That is a really good idea, to make the crown itself out of recycled materials. I think that's an
That's
awesome
right.
idea. It's good that you
Yeah,
bring that up.
I think the Miss Earth crown comes from It's actually a collection of stones from different nationalities around the world. So that is why Miss Earth is not changing the crown.
Right.
I think that's
I
just a
believe Miss Earth
technicality.
USA is coming up with a new crown this year.
Mhm.
So they're in the works of giving us or giving the new Miss Earth USA a newly fashioned crown. So I'm very excited to see what that's going to look like.
And I hope that they're gonna make a um, recycled crown from recycled from the used things, right?
Right.
hmm From the used gadgets, perhaps because our gadgets are actually metals, right? So it's like those iPhones.
There's plenty of those.
Yeah, that's right. I hope that. Okay, so do we have any questions for Shannon? For Shannon, for Kim, because Shannon is actually asking for your social media platforms. She wants to follow you. Yeah, Kim
Oh,
can
thanks,
definitely
Shannon.
share. Mhm.
Yeah, so my social media, it should be on my name here. Somewhere here.
Yeah,
Kim Keen
there you
official.
go.
There it is.
Kimberly.
Wait, there. Um, and so that's my Instagram, and then you can follow the official Miss Alaska Earth Instagram as well. It's just Miss Alaska Earth USA, I believe.
All
And
right.
then the Facebook, you can also follow me there. Kimberly Keen is my personal Facebook, and then Miss Alaska Earth USA is my official Facebook. So go ahead, and then I should have those all kind of linked on my this Instagram, the Kim Keen official one. So you can find them all that way as well.
Thank you so much. And Shannon is actually the one from Hawaii. All
Oh, yay!
right. She said she's
Shannon, what are
already
you
your
doing
fan.
up at this hour? Is what I need to know.
Okay, so there you go. I just wanted to ask as well, Kim. There is this, how shall I say, always an argument between the connection of global warming and the climate change. In
hmm
your own opinion, what is the connection of the two?
So there would be no global warming without some kind of climate change, right? So in order for the temperature to warm, it also has to change. So there has to be climate change with global warming. But I agree that that's a huge point of contention, and we've seen the language change over the years. It was global warming for a long time, and now it's slowly shifted to climate change. But I think climate change is actually more inclusive and it's more scientifically accurate because, like I was saying before, the Earth's atmosphere does warm and cool, and that is natural, but also the extent of it depends on how much we're contributing negatively to that. And so climate change really encapsulates the pattern of that and how that's happening. And that could change, So right now the Earth's atmosphere is warming and it could cool in the next 20 years or so, let's say, or 100 years. And I think it's important to pay attention to that because it doesn't have to necessarily be, okay, well, now the Earth's climate is cooling. So that means there's no more destruction in the atmosphere, right? There's no more global warming. So we don't have to worry anymore. That's why I think climate change is a better word, because even if the Earth's atmosphere is cooling, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's getting better, right? It doesn't mean that we're not also contributing still to the change in temperature. So I do think climate change is a more descriptive and accurate word for environmentalism.
Oh, amazing. This is just the first time that I hear about that. Though, there's always this explanation between its connection, but the kind of explanation is totally different. It blew me away.
Hopefully in a good way.
Of course, of course. It blew me away, so that's why I look like big right now. Joke. Just kidding. As a lawyer, as a practicing lawyer right now, Kim, what can you do for, or if you could give a, if you could make a law for global warming or slash climate change, what law, what particular would you like to um, to write or to somehow to do for the environment?
Yes. So I'm a big proponent of encouraging environmentalism rather than discouraging bad behaviors. So by that I mean I don't like to focus on laws that penalize us for not prioritizing environmentalism, but I want to focus on laws in different ways that we can reward people for participating in sustainable activities. So an example I give, which I think is a great one, is the tax credit. So in California, we do have something that's called a tax credit. So you get a credit every time you file your tax returns if you've done for businesses if you've participated in sustainable measures to a certain extent. And so that's a great example of we're rewarding these positive behaviors and we're essentially giving you money back for helping the environment. And so I would want to pass a law that's similar to that, maybe not necessarily a tax credit, but something similar where we're encouraging people to engage in sustainable behaviors. And when they do, we give them some kind of a benefit. Maybe we give them a tax credit, maybe we give them a paycheck, maybe we give them, access to certain things that they wouldn't otherwise have access to. So I think that going along those lines to encourage reducing your carbon footprint would be a great start to encouraging those behaviors.
That's one of the things that I actually appreciate or I like in your country, that you're giving this kind of tax credit when they are actually participating in such kind of activities or programs. Like so,
Hmm.
I hope that this kind of um, it's not actually a law, right? That this tax credit could apply to, yeah, internationally. That
Yes.
every, yeah, that basically help as well for the environment worldwide. But of course, your
Right.
country is not like the rest of the world. It's not the countries in the rest of the world, right? So, of course, the third world country, just like us in the Philippines, couldn't afford that as well. So,
Yeah, and I think that's a good, thing to touch on too, because environmentalism is important, but it's not a reality for a lot of people because
that's
they
right.
just simply don't have the money and the infrastructure to encourage these things. So
Hmm.
I think that's important to keep in mind as we talk about environmentalism. Is I think it's easy for us in the West to always say that, oh, you should be doing this, you should be recycling, and it's good for the environment. But some people just simply cannot do that, or if they do, it's so detrimental to them personally because now they have less money or ways to afford their lifestyles. So but I think that starts to change with as we all as a global community start to embrace environmentalism a little more because then these certain governments and intergovernmental organizations can come together and prioritize and spend money in a certain way and distribute their resources in a way where we're making sure that every country has opportunities to engage in environmentalism. But that is a big, big feat. And it definitely starts with with talking about environmentalism, the importance, and also the ways we can contribute to it personally, because our micro efforts really do have macro effects on environmentalism.
Wow, that actually reminded me of Karen Pasco, Miss Earth 2017. That our micro action can definitely become, can actually show a macro effect.
Yes, it's so true.
Yeah, that's right. That's actually very memorable, or somehow most remembered answer from a Miss Earth Queen. Yeah, because
Hmm.
it's really true that our small actions can definitely affect um, at large in general.
Yes.
Once,
And I
yeah,
think not just our actions too, I think that goes for our speaking about it as well, right? So not just individually recycling and things like that. That is important. But right now, just you and I are speaking about it, but there are also people watching, and there are also people who, I'm going to share this video, they're going to share this video.
that's
And
right.
so that also has a macro effect, I think, even almost even bigger and even greater, or at least more immediate, because word of mouth is a great tool to get that message across, and then hopefully people will be more inspired to take part in these individual efforts.
That's right. Especially we are already on the platform of social media. So I really
Right.
hope that our conversation will reach worldwide.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
That's right. Mhm. actually, most of my I think that was last year. Most of my viewers last year are actually from the U.S., especially when we were talking about Black Lives Matter. So yeah, I
Oh
got a
yeah, I
lot of
bet.
viewers from the U.S. back then.
Well, technically we are reaching worldwide. We have someone from Hawaii, we have someone from
That's right.
Alaska, we have people from the Philippines.
And from Los Angeles.
Yeah, see?
Yeah, that's right. Okay. Let's talk about your advocacy this time, Kim. So, Kim, can you tell us more about your advocacy? I know that you've already given us a glimpse of your advocacy a while back when we started. So, can you just give us a blast of it?
Yeah, really quick. So, my advocacy is through my initiative, Oceana Project, and I founded it just this past October after a really devastating oil spill in Huntington Beach, which is about an hour from where I live. So, I've been raising relief funds. I held a 5K in partnership with One Digital World this past November, and half the proceeds did go to Pacific Marine Mammal Center, which is an amazing organization that has been at the forefront of wildlife restoration from this oil spill. And then I've also encouraged people to go out and report evidence of and damage from the oil spill around our Southern California beaches, which I also participated in. And just this next week, so following week after Christmas, I'm going to be holding a live with my sister queen, Emma Loney, who's Miss Oklahoma Earth, and we're going to be talking about the different environmental laws and policies in our country, and also the different laws around offshore oil drilling, which is a huge contributor to these oil spills. And then in the future, I plan to take this initiative from the state level where it is now to the national level, and that's one of the reasons that I really am, gunning for this crown, is that I want to make sure that this environmental initiative and this issue, goes to the national level, not just because I would have this platform as Miss Earth USA, but I'd also make sure that I make these connections. And I can go into a little bit more, but it's probably going to be too long. But I have a three-step approach of how I would actually approach it at the national level and make sure that we're making change, not just from boots on the ground and getting our hands dirty and spreading awareness about the issue, but also speaking to our politicians and becoming partners with different organizations and intergovernmental groups that are working to ban offshore oil drilling and ultimately help the issue of oil spills around the world.
This is my first time to hear about an advocacy that is really focusing on all skills because I know
Mm-hmm.
that a lot is actually sacrificing or being um, how shall I say uh, has been suffering for 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 all spill causes, right? So I know that even the biodiversity could actually be affected by
Yes.
all spills as well. So this
Yes.
is really a good advocacy on my own on how I see it and how I've heard it from you.
Thank you. Yeah, and I think that's what I also am trying to get across is that oil spills, I think our general perception on them is that they are, they're localized, and once we fulfill the cleanup efforts and the area is back to normal, that it's not a problem anymore. But
Mhm.
it's actually the exact opposite. I mean, oil spills, the damage from these oil spills affects thousands and thousands of miles on the ocean floor, but it affects all of our resources as well. So it's affecting not just the marine life, not just the oceans, but it's affecting our land, our air, and it's affecting us as well on
Us,
land as
yeah,
humans
exactly.
and our
Mhm.
wildlife on land as well. And we have thousands of oil spills just in 1 year in this country alone. So it's something that is a recurrent problem that unfortunately doesn't get so much media attention. I think once an oil spill happens, it does, and it's a big deal. And then once we hear about cleanup efforts, it kind of goes away. But the reality is that it's here all the time and it's affecting our resources. And most importantly, it's something that just shouldn't be an issue anymore, right? I mean, we should be able to have enough regulations or checks on industry where this is not something that happens at all.
Mhm. Well, the basic effect of oil spills actually on us as human beings is actually our health. It's actually
Yes.
hitting our health, correct?
Mhm.
And
That's right.
yeah, it goes to our brain, so that could definitely, it's actually detrimental to us.
It is, yeah, and I
Mhm.
think people don't really realize that. Maybe they think when they go in the ocean or something that they could be harmed, but if they stay away from the beach, they're okay, but it isn't the case, and, ultimately, these effects and do stay in the ocean for longer than people realize, so they could be being affected by them as they go to the beach, and they don't even know it.
Yeah, Kim, I don't know if I miss you when I miss when you talk about how long you've been working on this. So, how long have you been working on this, by the way, if I have missed it?
Yeah, so I just started Oceana Project in October because
Mm-hmm.
that was following the oil spill, which was in late October in Huntington Beach.
Mm-hmm.
So just a few months now.
All right, all right, all right. So, you know what, Kim? I think one of the best weapon actually that you can make use in here are actually the how shall I say the millennials or
Okay.
yeah, the millennials, they're actually very helpful for this because millennials are very how shall I say, I forgot the word. What's happening to me? I think because it's already getting late. No,
Yeah.
making up excuses. No. Yeah, I think because the millennials as of the moment, or the millennials today, are actually getting involved in so many things. Now, if
That's
the
right.
millennials
Yeah.
are actually using this in a proper way, or in somehow in a very useful manner, or useful initiatives, I think this advocacy of yours could definitely be, could be heard, and I hope it could prosper. It could move
Yeah, I
forward.
agree. Yeah, I think the younger generation, it's so amazing that, they've embraced environmentalism and different humanitarian issues very readily. I think a lot more than older generations. And so I agree with you that they're a big asset and a great resource to tap into when it comes to trying to spread the message and encouraging others to participate as well.
Oh, thank you so much, Napoleon, for the word. Yeah, crusade. That's actually a good term. Yeah, sorry for using that one. Yeah, yeah, I'm sorry about that. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, actually, crusade is actually a good term for that. Okay, so where are we now? So may I just ask Kim, aside from already working from or reaching out from other non-government agencies, what else are you working right now for this advocacy?
Yeah, so as I said, I am doing a live with my sister Queen and Maloney. So we're just spreading the message more about what the environmental laws and policies look like now and what we can do to help. So that's kind of reaching out to people on a more personal level through social media. And then I want to emphasize that I have this three-step approach to taking Oceana Project from the state to the national level. So the three steps are restoration, prevention, and then preservation. So the first step, restoration, is that boots on the ground approach. We're moving fast, we're encouraging volunteers with intergovernmental organizations to clean up the effects of oil spills. And then we're moving on to prevention, where we have greater education. We're encouraging greater checks on industry practices to prevent these leaks and oil spills in the first place. So that includes things like tightening bolts, how to throw anchors to avoid clashing with pipelines. That's actually how the Huntington Beach oil spill was started. Was an anchor was thrown onto one of these pipelines and it just continued to rip at it, and it was a slow leak for a long time. And then the third step is preservation. So that's really with moving on to that national, that legislative level, working with legislators and different organizations to preserve these oceans in the first place. So to protect them from activities that are vulnerable to spills. And this includes things like banning offshore oil drilling altogether and placing greater regulations on how oil is transported underseas in order to ultimately close that gap and prevent oil spills altogether.
Wow, that's great. So what can I do for that? Is this? There you go. So I see. It's really amazing. It's really amazing that you are now working very hard on your advocacy, and I'm looking forward to to more actions, actually, to more results later on as you are working on this advocacy. Kim. So
Yeah,
good luck to your advocacy, and
thank you.
I'm wishing you all the best for this.
Thank
Right?
you so much.
You're welcome. My pleasure. And so I think we've already talked more a lot about your advocacy. So are you ready for our last challenge?
I'm so ready.
Okay, so let me just share our challenge to you. Okay, where is my screen? There you go. Okay, here we go. Can you see that?
It's loading. Okay, I see it.
All right, perfect. Just give me one moment. It's also loading on my end.
Okay.
Uh-huh. What's happening here? There you go. Okay, here we go. Oh, one moment. That's already one of the questions. All right, so it's pick a box. I call this always as pick a box. These are actually boxes. It's actually six boxes that contains questions um, for every box that we open. Okay,
Okay.
so well, just a cue, just a hint for this, right? By the way, well, just give me one moment. Let me just try to remove that logo. Okay, there you go. So just a hint, actually, just a clue for this boxes. These questions are actually asked from or the winning questions asked for Miss Earth queens. Okay, it's from our previous queens. So regardless of the year. Okay, so all you have to do is just pick at least three boxes. Okay, so for let me just try to check on that. Yeah. So just pick at least three boxes, one at a time, and then we move forward after
Okay.
which. Okay?
Okay.
Are you
So
ready?
the first box I'll
Mhm.
pick is number 5.
Okay, so number five. Are you sure with this?
I am sure.
Okay, good. So here we go. And the question is the
Ooh.
Paris, the Paris Agreement on Climate Change is a historic international deal that seeks to limit global warming to below 1.5 degrees centigrade. If you are selected as a Miss Earth 2022, that this was actually as in 2016, what would be your program to protect Mother Earth from climate change?
My program would be very similar and mirror my 3-step initiative for my project, an Oceana project. So that's the restoration, prevention, and preservation 3-step approach. So the first step is restoring nature where it is, making sure that we help get on the ground and reduce the effects of climate change that way, prevent it by passing more regulations and keeping to regulations that help with preventing climate change, and then preserving, making sure that we then pass more laws and more initiatives that protect and prevent global warming in the first place.
Ooh, there you go. Oh, I think that's very short. There you go. Okay. So, what's your second pick?
hmm, I'll go with 3.
Number three. Okay, here we go. So, what is the biggest enemy or enemies of Mother Earth? This was asked in 2017 to Karen Basco.
As much as I don't want to admit it, I'm gonna say that we are the biggest enemies of Mother Earth as human beings. We have the greatest effect on climate change and the way that our environment is being damaged and going for the worse. But because we're its biggest enemy and we have the ability to change our ways, we can then become its biggest asset. And that comes with greater education and bringing greater awareness to this issue and how we harm the environment. So hopefully we can then change our habits to help the environment.
Perfect. Here we go. All right, there you go. Oh, so, doing good, doing good. So, it's gonna be the last.
The last one, I'll choose 6.
Number six. I don't see any pressure right now. Okay, if you would be elected Miss Earth USA, this was actually asked in 2014, I guess. Yeah, this was
Oh,
actually
okay.
Obama. This was supposed to be Obama. So I
Oh.
just rephrased it. Okay. If you would be selected Miss Earth 2021 and you were given the chance to speak to President Biden, what would you ask him regarding climate change?
I would ask him what exactly his goals are to have concrete steps to reduce climate change. I know that as a Democrat, they often do have the priority of helping climate change, but I would like to know what are the concrete efforts and goals that he wishes to accomplish for climate change, and then how does he plan to go about that? Because I think it's very important, and we don't really have as much time as we think. So it's important to hop on this issue as quickly as we can and make sure that we are making real steps to reducing the harmful effects of climate change.
Wow. There you go. Thank you so much. And I think President Biden reconsiders the Paris. What's that again? Paris.
Climate agreement.
Yes,
Hmm.
I think so. Right.
Yeah, I think it's Paris Climate Agreement.
Mhm. All right. Thank you so much for that. For answering all those three questions, and I don't see any pressure right now. Yeah. So I think everything is just was just like everything will actually looked like um very normal. It's like yeah. Just to be honest, there was no I don't see any pressure when you were answering, and that's really cool.
That's good. That's
So
good.
mhm, doing good. So would you like to send message to anyone? And yeah, it's time for you to promote your social media platforms, your projects, and of course your business if you do have.
Yeah, so first I want to say thank you for everybody who's following and watching. I really, really appreciate it. And of course, we went over social media, but if you didn't hear, you can always follow my social media here, Kim Keen Official on the bottom here, and my official Miss Alaska Earth USA Instagram and Facebook. And my personal Facebook is Kimberly Keen. And I want to say a message to everybody that I know it's hard. I know there's some more COVID variations going around, and the holidays are coming up. So it's kind of a tricky time, but I wish that everybody stays healthy and they're able to spend the holidays with their loved ones and enjoy what we have the last of 2021 and make sure that you are happy and try to enjoy it the best you can. And of course, stay healthy.
All right, thank you so much. Yeah, um, your pageant will be in January, right?
Yeah. So the
Would you like to invite
finals,
everyone?
yes. So tickets are on sale now. So you can go to Miss Earth US. I think it's missearthunitedstates.com is the official website. And you can purchase your tickets there. I'll also post a link actually on my social media, so if it's easier. And so you can buy tickets there. It's in Orlando. It's going to be amazing if you can show up in person. If you can't, it is being streamed live for free on
Wow.
VIP Pageantry, yeah, which is amazing. So I believe they're just streaming the January 8th finals. So if you want to see that, make sure that you go to VIPpageantry.com and stream it there.
Wow, hopefully we can be able to watch it live by then, or I mean, the live streaming because we cannot be able to go to you to the US for a face to
Yeah.
face. All right, thank you so much, Kim, for this how shall I say how I can't think of a word right now. Thank you for grazing this live sessions of ours, and yeah, thank you so much for taking time and sharing your time with us. And definitely we will follow your journey as well in
Thank you.
Miss Earth USA 2022.
Yay.
In behalf of Pageant Night Philippines, I would like to um, get to give you our best wishes, okay,
Thank you
for
so
our
much.
journey and good luck.
Thank you
All
so
right.
much. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. And I love all of the Philippines fans. They're great. So thank you again. And I will remember your best wishes going into the competition.
Thank you so much. Wow. And yes, to all our viewers, thank you so much for staying with us. Though it was already late here, or it is already late here in the Philippines, you tuned in with us for like more than an hour. Yeah, it was actually more than an
Yes.
hour. Thank you so much. And I actually enjoyed this conversation with Kim. Yeah, I hope that we have learned so much about Kim, and yeah, I mean, I'm actually inviting everyone to support her as well. Right? Thank you
Aw,
so
thank
much
you.
once again. You're welcome. And thank you so much once again. If you are new to our page, please do like, follow, and you can also subscribe and support us by sending stars. Yeah.
Send those stars.
Yeah, and support us by setting stars. I'm shy.
You're like,
And of course,
support us by setting stars. Subscribe.
and of course, you can also follow us or subscribe on our YouTube channel. It's Pageant Mag Philippines channel on YouTube. You can also follow us on Instagram, same, and TikTok and Twitter. So it's Pageant Mag Philippines across all social media platforms. So it'll be easy for you to remember Pageant Mag Philippines. Thank you so much once again, and have a great night to everyone. Have a great day to the rest of the world. Bye. God bless you all. Oh, there you go.
Bye.